Hello guys, this tutorial video is for Adobe Animate CC Lesson 5, Advanced Motion Tweening. So for this lesson, first we need to open Adobe Animate CC. And then go to File, choose Open. Locate into your lesson folders, which is Lesson 5. And also go to Start. And choose 05 start.flash, click Open. And then go to File, Save As, and rename it as 05 Working Copy, and click Save. The first step of this lesson is adding motion tweens. Select all three blocks, the ones with a US flag, so we can click Center Image, or make it smaller, like I will make it like 80% to say the blocks, these three blocks. The ones with the US flag, the European Union flag, and the Japanese flag. So, shift click. Now we need to choose the selection tool. Shift click to select these three blocks, and right click to choose Create Motion Tween. Animate creates motion tweens for all three movie clip instances and extends the timeline for the top three layers to frame 24, representing only 1 second of time. Move the red playhead to frame 24. Select all three blocks to select both of them. And then while holding the Shift key down, move them up onto the stage. So we press Shift and move them up. And then we can check the X and Y value, about Y at 40. And then add additional frames to the bottom two layers so they extend to frame 24. So I will choose this 2 frame and right click, insert frame. And you can say the frame are inserted to the same place, which is frame 24. The next step is editing property curves. Double click the motion tween in the US layer. Double click. Or you can right click to open this. Animate expands the motion tween in the US layer, revealing the motion editor panel. The motion editor contains 2 straight red lines. One represents the change in the X position, which is this one, and you can see it's X, and then we can click the Y to see the Y line. Both the X and Y properties are grouped under the location property group. This is the location. Alternatively, click between the X property and the Y property, and you can see they are highlighted. So, the next step is adding anchor points. Select the Add Anchor Points option at the bottom of the motion editor, which is this one. This is Add Anchor Point on Graph. Move your mouse pointer over the property curve. Flash changes your cursor to a pen tool icon with a plus sign indicating that you can add an anchor point to the curve. Click on the curve at frame 21. So we go to frame, this is frame 21. And drag the curve downward. So like this, we'll drag it down. Okay. Release your mouse when the anchor point is at about the 25 pixels mark. So it should be 25, about 25. Almost here. Animate as a new anchor point like this. This is the new anchor point you added, which also shows a new keyframe like this. You can see the dot, which is a keyframe in frame 21. Select the Add Anchor Point option again. Click on the Y property curve. This is Y at frame 5. So frame 5. And drag the new anchor point to the right to about frame 9. So I'll drag it to about, okay, this is frame 9. Like this. Test your new motion by pressing return. So I drag it to the first and press return. See the difference. The next step is changing the curvature. Click the anchor point on the Y property curves at the keyframe at frame 21, this one. The handlebars at the selected anchor point appear. Drag the left handlebar downward so the handlebars are horizontal. Okay, drag it like this. Test your new motion. Okay, I'll just drag it to see the difference. The next step is moving anchor points. Select the anchor point at frame 9, this one. The handlebars at the selected anchor point appears. Drag the anchor point slightly up and to the right. Okay, I'll drag it slightly up and to the right. The property curve flattens out even more, creating a more extended ease-in effect. Test your new motion. Like this. The next step is deleting property curves. Use the Remove Tween option, trash can icon, which is this one, at the bottom of the motion editor to remove a tween from a selected property curve. The next one is viewing options for the motion editor. You can see this one is feed to motion and restore to 100%. To 100%. And we can change the different view, which is the zoom level. The next is copying and pasting curves. In the motion editor of the Motion Tween for the US movie clip, select the Y property. This is Y. Right-click on the Y property curve and choose Copy. And then double-click the Motion Tween in the Euro layer. So we can double-click it back by double-click Euro. And then select the Y property. Right-click on the Y property curve and choose Paste. Although the final pasted curve has the correct shape and anchor point, the Y value of the final anchor point may not be correct. Hold down the Shift key and click and drag the final anchor point down, so its property value is identical to the previous anchor point. Okay, I'll hold Shift, drag it down like this, and drag it to about 150, and then drag the anchor point at frame 21 to about Y 100, like this. This should be up a little bit, which is 150. And then we drag to test what will happen, like this. It's different. The next step is duplicating entire Motion Tweens. Double-click the Motion Tween in the Euro layer to close it. Shift-click the Motion Tween in the Euro layer. Shift-click. Animate selects the entire Motion Tween span. Right-click and choose Copy Motion. And then select the Motion Tween in the N layer, this one, and right-click to choose Paste Motion. Animate pastes the motion tween copied from the Euro layer. The InMotion tween has the identical property curve. We can open it to see, yes, it's changed like this, the curve, as the Euro and also as the US. You can drag to see the difference. Next is adding the next motion tween. We need to select frame 90 for all the layers. So frame 90. Go to frame 90 and shift click to select all of them. And then press F5, or you can go to Insert, Timeline, Frame. Animate as frames to all the layers up to frame 90, like this. Select frame 40 in the emerging layer and insert a new keyframe. So this is emerging layer and we need to go to 40. Select, this is 40. Right click to insert keyframe. And then right click or control click the emerging movie clip instance just off the stage, this one. And then create motion tween. Move the red playhead to frame 55. Hold down the Shift key and move the emerging movie clip instance onto the stage so that its right edge butts up against the stack of blocks. I'll just move it. Should be like this. Yes. Select frame 56 of the emerging layer. This is 56. Remember to press Command and click once, and then right click to choose Split Motion. And then at frame 56, right click and choose Remove Motion. So now you can say Animate removes the motion tween at frame 56, like this. The next step is adding an ease in. Double-click the motion tween in the emerging layer. And then select the X property curve. So we need to select X. This is X. This is X. Choose the Add Ease option at the bottom of the motion bar. So this is Add Ease. Click Add Ease. Click the arrow in front of the Simple category. This is Simple. Or double-click the single category. So Animate expands the Simple Ease category. And then we need to choose the Fast Ease, this one. Changing the easing value, this is easing value, to -60. Click off the ease panel to dismiss it. Test your new motion. Okay, I'll drag it, test it like this, or I'll just drag it to the first and control play. Okay. The next is removing an ease. Double-click the motion between the emerging layer. Double-click the motion tween in the emerging layer. So we need to go to motion tween, like so we need to double-click the emerging tween and then choose No Ease. This is No Ease. And press ESC to close the ease panel, or just click it and double-click. The next one is animating bounces. Select the frame 56 in the top 3 layers, the US, the Euro, and the Yen. So 56, and then we need to press Command. To select both other 3 ones. So I cannot select all of them. I'm guessing I can do it one by one. So I need to split them. So I will do it one by one at the 56. Right click to split motion. And this one is the same, split motion and split motion. Move the playhead to the end of the timeline at frame 90. Move the US movie clip instance to the bottom of the stage at X3. Okay, I'll just click the US one and then specify the X value as 631 pixels and Y as 300 and 301, like this. Using the free transform tool, rotate it to 180 degrees. Okay, I'll drag, rotate it like this. Okay. The final position should be X 700 and Y as 400 and 400. Move the Euro clip instance to the bottom. Also, I will use the selection tool and choose this one. And move it to X as 551, 51, and Y as 310. Also, rotate it by choosing frame transform tool like this to 90 degrees. And also move the last one, this one. Specify X as 486 and Y as 330. And also we need to use the frame transform tool to change it like this. And then we go to Control to play and to set the effect. Yes. And next is using the bouncing is double click the last motion tween in the US layer. So this is the last one, double click. And then select the Y property under location. This is Y. Choose the Add Ease option at the bottom of the motion, Add Ease. And then click the arrow in front of the bounce and the spring. And then choose the bouncing is this one. And enter 12 for the easing. And then we can preview and back, double click. Again, I'll go to Control Play, and we can see the difference. You can say the path is already different. Collapse the motion editor for the US layer. And then choose the Euro layer, this one, double click. And also, apply a bouncing, so we need to go to Bounce and Spring, bouncing, and specify the easing as 10. The same one should be applied to the Yen one. So we go to Yen, double click, and at ease choose bouncing, and then change the value to 8. Press return. So now let's see the effect, Control Play. Okay, I'll drag the playhead to the very first and play. The next one is applying a second ease. to a different property curve. Expand the motion editor for the US layer. This is motion editor. Select the X property under location, this one. Choose the Add Ease option at the bottom of the motion, this one. And then click the arrow in front of Simple category. Choose the Fast Ease and specify 50. 50 is okay. Also, we can do this to the other two motion tweens. So let's do it to the other motion tweens. Arrow and Fast Ease. Simple, Fast, 50. Yes. Then we go to Yen also. X value. X value. Add ease. Simple, fast, and 50. Okay. And then drag it to the beginning and test again. Okay. Now you can save your work.